twofold question for you. You talk about truth and like objective truth. Somewhat related to that, objective value. What is it that gives any human life, white, black, Asian, Latino, objective value? And when does human life begin?
Sure.
9 months, 6 months, 6 weeks, act conception?
I'll give you my faith-based answer, and then I'll give you an answer based on logic. My faith teaches me that life begins at conception. All unborn life is life. And I think that that's because we're all made with God residing in each of us. That's the heart of my faith. And for those of you who aren't aware, my faith is different than the traditional faith background of people who have run for U.S. president. I'm Hindu, which is different than traditional Christians who have run for U.S. president before, but we share the same value set in common. I went to St. Xavier High School in Cincinnati and learned that lesson in a different way. They said we're all equal because we're made in the image of God. Great. It's the same value set that my parents raised me in. We're equal because God resides in each of us. My faith teaches me there's one true God. He puts each of us here for a purpose. That it's our moral duty to realize that purpose. That God works through us in different ways, but we're still equal. Born life and unborn life. We're equal because God resides in each of us. I had a very traditional upbringing. My parents taught us family's the foundation. Marriage is sacred. My parents gave us what you call a very traditional upbringing. Marriage is between a man and a woman. Divorce isn't some option. You just pick off a menu when things go a little wrong at times. That the good things in life involve a sacrifice. It's not just about this life. It's about eternal life. Honor your family. Honor your parents. We get to the 10 Commandments. I'm 14 years old in St. Xavier High School. What do they say? There's one true God. Don't take his name in vain. Observe the Sabbath. Don't kill. That's where the pro-life view comes from. Don't kill. Don't lie. Don't cheat. Don't steal. Don't commit adultery. Don't covet. It didn't feel like, for me, I was reading those values for the first time. And I do think those are the values this nation was founded on. I know it's not fashionable to talk about the 10 Commandments these days, but these are the values that most of us share in common. And I think half the job of the next U.S. president is to make those values of faith and family and patriotism and hard work cool again for the next generation. And I consider that part of my responsibility. So some of this is a faith-based background, but I'll give you logic, raw logic here. We all accept that life ends on the back end when brainwaves end. Nobody disputes that. That's widely accepted. My own background is in biology. I didn't give you my background. I started a biotech company. I oversaw the development of medicines. 5 of them are FDA-approved products today. One of them actually does reflect my pro-life views, that every life matters. 100% of kids with a genetic disease are born every year who die by the age of 3. I had the honor of working on a life-saving therapy that's now FDA approved where 70% of those kids live lives of normal duration. So to me, pro-life is womb to tomb all the way. But anyway, my wife is a physician. She's a cancer surgeon at the cancer hospital at Ohio State. Medically and otherwise, everyone accepts life ends when brain waves end. So you have to say on the beginning, you have to apply the same rules. Life begins no later than when those brain waves begin. That's at about 5 or 6 weeks. So whether it's faith or logic that leads you there, that's truth. Unborn life is life. Let's get into the thorny issue of abortion. This is considered to be the electoral loser for Republicans. It's going to be our doom and gloom in the election, they'll teach you. I disagree with that. I'll tell you what our way out of it is. I don't think that we have to hide from our principles. We have to stand for our principles. So I want us to lead the way in talking about being more pro-life than we actually have been. Policies favoring adoption, access to contraception, access to child care. And then here's one that I think is an easy one for us to embrace. Codify sexual responsibility for men into the law. What does that mean? If a woman brings a child to term, she can, at her sole option, make the man the principally responsible caretaker, financially and otherwise, of that child if it's confirmed with the genetic paternity test. Now it's not about men's rights and women's rights. We're all in this together. And I'll bring up the case of, it was a real case brought up by Clarence Thomas, actually. It's a case of a woman who's pregnant and she's assaulted. And the unborn child died as a result. You find me one person in this country who'll tell you that that person shouldn't be punished for that death? I haven't found one yet. It says we share those pro-life instincts in common, but we haven't been doing enough to stand for our own principles. And that brings me back earlier, where I think the failure of the Republican Party, what do we stand for affirmatively? That's how we win, actually. And so I think that's how we win on this issue without compromising on our principles. And that's how I would lead this country as well. And answer your question? Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Hey, we have time for one more question.